Okay, guys. We're booting everything up again, and we'll check where we left off and start developing it. Okay. So we give in admin, and we were left off with our JSON of sites. So basically, what do we have? We have now sites that that are that we can now show. So we'll need to create the HTML around it. So a quick recap from from where we had it. So we have get sites and it's paginated. Default is true. So this gets basically the sites, and in our site component we just say that we want to load the page. It will have a page param. If not, we will load page 1 and we set the page param there. We've got a semicolon there. And if the collection is not null, we display it. As you can see, we have this. So this part will change. So yeah, so we are using Core UI. So in Core UI, you have nice tables. So we'll use a table there. By the way, if you have any questions, just tell me. Just ask in the chat, and I will answer the questions as good as I can. Let's see. Okay, so how does this table work? We want this sort of table as well in a card. Thanks for following, Blackburn. Thanks for following. So we're just a basic table. Okay, let's get into the coding. So we want we start with a div with a class. We have a row. The row we have one column, and in that one column we have a card. Then we have, of course, a card header. We need a title for it. So let's say we have our translations key. So let's see what we already added. So we have our translations here. We have component, and then we have sites. And then we have, of course, the title. Let's just call it sites. It's not exciting, but we can that way we can make it multi-language real easy. Sites dot title, and we translate it. Come on, thank you. So in this header we as well want some actions, and you will see it what it is. Class, we say card dash actions. So it's basically, if I go to base cards, it's something like, if I can find it, I can't find it. Where is it? I don't see it. Oh, it's basically a button in here. That's what we want. Um, that's what we will create. But we will, yeah, we will probably need to put it in our custom CSS. Yeah. Wow, this is well card action. Okay, let's continue. See how it turns out, and then we can change it. So we have a class, a link with class. We need to look like a button. We have an outline button. Success and outline card success card action, which is goes into here, and we have as well yeah, we have a hover state for it, and of course we have router link. In that router link, what do we say? We want to go to site/add. We of course we want a tooltip because the tooltips are funny and nice. So component dot site dot add tooltip. We will need to add it in our file, of course. So we set add dot tooltip add site. Nothing more. And we can close it. We want the tooltip placement to be left, and our container for the tooltip is the body, and then it's just an icon in there. So I class font awesome plus square O, and we say that it's large, and that is our card action. So of course after the card header we have div class card body. Okay, so let's see what we now have. We should have some HTML in there. Here, wow, we have some broken stuff. Let's see what happened. So tooltip isn't a known, yeah. So this means that we did not import it yet in our module. So our content module will have the tooltip module for root, and as well the alert module. Okay, and basically now it's this, but yeah, it doesn't look just right yet. Let me look something up. Let's see if we can find. So we can find card actions. So if we look up card actions, it's in there, so it should display. There is just something not going right, because if we hover it, it should be blue. It's when we click it. Huh. It has the class, but the hover doesn't work. Weird. Well, our navigation works, which is also fine. But yeah, I want our hover to work, but let me say half. It looks like it's not getting picked up, but it's in our style, so it should. Hmm. Well, okay, that's a problem later on in the CMS to make everything look really nice. Uh, that's uh, later on. So for now, you can see we have our add site, and yeah, we can click on it. We just don't have our hover state. Okay, so um, our card body. What do we need to do? So in our card body, we need a row, of course, class row, and we only show it when the collection is not equal to null. So if we have a collection, we show it, and I don't think we can do the triple one. So what do we need to do now is say we have div class call 12 again, call small 12. We will have messages. So we have an alert, and it's of the type danger, which will show the errors. It's always dismissible. Ng if. So basically, what do we say here? We say if we have an error, show it, translate it. Because all our errors come in the form of keys for translation. And then the same for success. I don't know if we have that variable already in our component. We don't have error as well, so we have a public error, and we say it's string. We have a public success string, and that's it. So we have now those. So we now show messages. What else we will need? And I will comment it for now because we need to develop it. Is flash messages. We will do it after we have our pagination and stuff. So next up is our table. So we have a table which has a class of table. It's a table responsive small. We have a table striped, and we have table dash bordered. So we have a T head, we have a T body. So we have one row in our head, component dot site dot name translate. We will have a few more. We have the site name, we have the path, we have created, we have an updated, we have actions. The actions will be edit or delete, basically. Let's add them to our translation. Name is just name, and we have path, which is just path. Created and then created, updated, and we have then actions is actions. Well, you could argue we will reuse name and path, but we want everything for the component to be a different translation, so we can change it out more easily when we do later development in the CMS. So that's why we will duplicate some translations. Okay, so we have our header, so then we go into our body. So every row will be a site. So we will have a trng4 let site of collection.items. Then we have a td for the site.name, site path. We have then created add, but we will need to update pipe, so we have it in the correct date format. We want day, month, year, year, and then we want hours and minutes. So we'll duplicate this one and say updated at. We forgot the D. Then we have our actions, which will have the text center. And basically we have then two buttons which are linked, so btn warning. We have a router link, and we have sites update, and we need to pass, of course, our site.id in there. This one will as well be just an icon. So we have font awesome, and then we say we want a pencil. Yep. We copy paste this one. Well, no. Well, doesn't matter. We want for this one a button. We remove this one, and we say we create a click event, and we say delete site.id, and this one is trash. Okay, and we need to create a function, of course. In here we have then set page needs to be public, by the way. Public delete site id string, and this one is a void, and that's wired up. So let's look at the result, and you see we have two buttons here. What do we still need to do is we need to give it another color. So this one will be danger. Okay. that's already nice. And we will space it, so we'll say this one, and it will have a space between it. And now we can edit and delete, and we can add. We can do everything we want. So we see that update URL works. Our add URL works as well. So that's nice. Now, of course, this isn't done yet. We don't have that many sites that needs to be paginated, but the possibility is that it could be. Yeah. So we need to add pagination there. Let me first do this commit. So we'll commit those files. I'll create commit. I will immediately push it so you guys already can pull it in if you want to follow the code. So I will have a shared component. So I will create a new directory called component. Okie dokie. And then we say we want an Angular component. And we call it pagination. That's it. So in our shared, it says declaration, which is fine, but we as well export it. So other modules can use this component. I like it to be listed like this. So let's start developing this component. Let's put the translations there. So we have component, pagination. We have this one. So what do we want? We want some inputs. So we want an input for our page size. We want an input for total pages, which is as well a number. We want an input for the pages itself. So we want the pages, and this one is a number array. We want an input for the current page. So this is a number. We want last input for the class list, which is a string. And we already assign it, and we will give this one another name called class. Contains lint directive class list should not be renamed. I don't like that one. Okay, so that lint is disabled. So we want one output because we need to fetch no data from our backend if we change our page. So we say on page change. It's an event emitter of a number, and we as well initialize it. So we then say private last emitted equals -1. It's a local, it's a variable we need for this component. So we will have one method in here. So we have a public change page. So page number. We have a bool, but we return a bool. We return false so that we intercept our button click. So if page not equals this dot last emitted. So if it's not the this dot on page change emit page, this dot last emitted equals page. So we do not keep on emitting the same page if we keep on clicking on the button. So we don't pull down our backend. On to the HTML, which is as well pretty straightforward. So we have an unordered list, we have a class, pagination, and we will add our class list. We have our first item. List item is a page item. It has ng class directive. So basically, we will check. Well, we will set disabled if the current page is 1. I think I forgot something. No, it's fine. Okay. So this one will be a with class page dash link. There's a href of nothing. It has then as well a click, and we say change page to current page -1. Okay. And then what do we show? We show a span and less this one. We want that sign. So with that in mind, we need to do it for the next page. So we'll do it. Disabled if our current page is bigger or equal to total pages. If so, we need to change this one to R, and I will handle that one. And then the last small thing we need to do is we need to have an ng4. We have an ng class. Do we need to do it in quotes? I don't think so. So we want to set active when the page equals current page. Oh, looks correct, no? And then here we say we change the page to page. We just print out the page. It's page link, href of nothing. active, and I'm going to change this as well because it looks cleaner. Okay, let's test our component out. So below our row, so it's this one, we can start a div class row again. We have an empty column because we want it on the right hand side, or maybe we just want it in the center. It's fine. So we have the column, the full length column. We have then ZCMS out with pagination. We will add a class. Justify content and page size is then collection dot page size. Okay. Total pages. We have then current page as well. We say current page. Pages is collection dot pages. And then we have on page change, set page, and we pass it the event, which will be the number, and that's it. Now we will have our pagination. And as you can see, it's here. Let's see if we can. Okay, so we have a row in a row, so this is not fine. Okay. So now it's completely right. So our pagination is the full length. Okay, so I I like right. I don't care. It's right. It's standing right. We can live with it. It's below our actions. It's where we need to be with our mouse. It's fine. So basically, we can reuse this component, this small component, everywhere where we need to have pagination, and it will work. So I don't know if we have our loading in place. Our API is too fast for it. Lol. Let's see. I can see it. But we still have console errors. Okay. Cannot read property page size of no. Okay, I see where we went wrong. So on our row here we set if collection is not equals to no. We will need to add a new div with this one, and this div will be below this row. So this row is as well included inside the div. So let's check it out. And no errors anymore. We still have a console log somewhere. There. Okay. So in this method we have a console log. We remove that as well. Okay. And we will commit it because we did something specific. Pagination component. Okay. So let's check something in our app component. So we do not have loading yet in place. Okay. So let's do that. Loading. Ba-ba-bum. Bootstrap full page loading spinner. Let's see. Ah, that's what we want. Okay. So we copy the CSS. Yeah, I'm not the best at CSS and SAS and stuff. So, how does this work? So we import custom. So I can say create a new say file loading. What? No. Well, like I just say loading stuff. Paste it. Now it's implemented. So in our constructor we will have public. No. So in our base component we have this one. We will subscribe to this one inside our app. So we say same here. Take until subscribe. Which is a bool. Let's put it on new lines so it's a little bit easier to read. We have a public value. Public is loading, for example. It's a boolean and it equals to false. 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 Okay. And then it's basically doing this dot is loading equals loading. Dang it, I didn't do the yeah, inversion files. Okay. So basically we say this is loading, and as you can see, it just this HTML will show the loading overlay in there. So basically what we need to do is this, and we say ng if is loading. So now if is loading is true, it will be showing an overlay. I can show you guys. So yeah, it's still too quick. Well, we can show you if we say here to true. And of course we do not do this line, then we can see the loading. So now we have an overlay that it's loading. So we'll comment this back. We say this is false. And we do our commit basic loading. Commit and push. Okay, we still forgot something to do in our sites component. So basically, when we have an error, we want to catch it. So it's the same again. If emitter service off and it's site error, we say a pipe take until this.ng and subscribe, and we have error, which is a string, which then is this error equals error, and that's our line of code. So this will set an error on this variable, and basically it would show this error. We can test it out if we shut down our API and we hit refresh. It should show something wrong, but it doesn't. Nice. What happened? Okay, let's debug it, see what happened. Bring it. Did it not emit it? Let's see. But it's our options call, so I'm afraid that it doesn't. Well, it gets there, so. Huh. So we display our error, so that's correct. It emits the error ID. Okay, so we apparently we did something wrong there. Huh? Let's check it out why it's failing. So this is correct. So this dot error equals error. It still is the same, which is correct. So our alert is not working. Okay. So error. Let's see what it is doing. So it's not showing anything because our collection is null. Huh. Okay, so we will remove this div again, and we will have two ng-ifs of this. We then remove one div, doesn't matter where, and we format it. And now we will show the error. I think, yeah, we'll show the error, but it's not translated yet. Common error, something wrong. Common error. Oh, is it errors? Bang. Looks nice. There went something wrong, which is correct. So that's bug fix. We need to update again this part. So it's way shorter. Okay, then we say showing errors for sites. Push the button. Okay. So basically, we have our first view developed. Next step, adding a website. So we have our component and HTML. Okay. Let's start developing it. So what do we need to send when we add or update the site? We can know it when we do site request. So we need a name and we have a path and we have a reg expression there and a length and not blank. So we want to catch those all on the front end part. So we say public form errors, and we call it name. We have a path. We have public validation messages. We have validation message for the name. So we have required. So we already defined some errors. So we have only required. For this one, we have as well a min length. And you guessed it, a max as well. Min, max. Okay. So as well for the path. Do we have min max on path? Site requests. No, we only have a pattern. So this one can be pretty big. Okay, it's fine. So we have pattern. And we have pattern. Okay, so these are our messages. Let's add them real quick. So we have min length. This the value of needs to be at least I'm going to keep consistency. I'm going to keep consistency. Okay, let's add this one already so we don't forget. Okay, so min length field has to be at least 10 characters. For example, the message for max, this field can only be max length characters long. Pattern, and this field can only contain these characters. Pattern. Okie dokie. Okay, yeah, so that's that. So we now have variables inside our messages. The translation framework we're using can handle this, so we can just keep on doing. Well, we just add them to our pipe, but we need another value for this one. So we'll say public validation messages values. So we have name again, min length is then 1, max length is then 255, and for our path we only have pattern A to Z, A to Z in small letters, 0 to 9. We can have a dash, we can have an underscore, and have a slash. So those is everything for error messages. So what do we need now? We need a form, which is a type of form group. We need an error to show errors from the API again. We have a private site which we'll use in the update. So in add the site stays null, and in the update we fetch it. So we have a private form builder. We have a private route activated route. We have a private router. We will have as well a private site service. So our site service is not yet big enough to use it. So let's start creating that part. So we will do public get site by ID, and we will pass the ID there. which will then return observable of site. Then we say return this dot rest service dot get endpoint sites slash, and we give it the ID. Then we need as well the token, so we say out service dot get token, and then we can pipe it. Can add our pipe. Hi Alex, how are you doing today? Everything okay? So we have a map function in there, so we will have our result, which is any, and that we will then say return mapping util dot map item to site, and we will just say res dot data. We don't have to specify our return, because it turns automatically. Let's add it on a new line, and then as well we have our catch something wrong. We will return our site error. We have null, and that's it. So basically, what do we say? We get a site and map it. So how did I learn Java? I picked up a book and started reading in it. Well, it was a beginner's book, and then I just I ended the book, and I kept on doing projects and projects and projects, and then you start learning about building websites with Java, and yeah, you learn some frameworks. You learn some frameworks names, and then you pick a book for that framework, and then it just you start with one beginner book, and you keep on doing projects, and you want to learn more and more and more, and then you just learn Java that way. Yeah, it's true, I did not stream for a long time, but yeah, I was busy the work was really busy, so I didn't have a lot of time to stream, but I'm back. So now we can get our site by ID. We as well need a function to create site. Create site. We want our data. What else do we want? That's it, I guess. Which as well is an observable site. So we say return this dot rest service dot post. We then have the endpoint sites. We say this dot out service get token. Our data is then just data. After that we can do pipe. We need to map it as well. Well, basically it's the same. Now we could have in here catch our validation messages as well, but like I showed you, site request. So basically, our validation messages are perfectly checkable on the front end part. So we do it there. If we can post it and there goes something wrong with these validations here, that means someone tampered with the front end part. So it throws an error, but it just throws something wrong error, because if they did not tamper with it and everything works fine, the correct message is already shown, so we can just show something wrong error. We as well have we will as well check unique fields that we need to check the database from. We cannot do it on the front end part, so that we will show for some stuff we needed. But for now, it's just something wrong is good enough. because we already can check everything on the front end part. Well, Java is basically used for everything. That's the part. That's the strong part of Java. You can use Java for console applications. You can use Java for routers on mobile phones for Android. You can create websites with it. Um, you can basically use it everywhere. Yeah, you can use it almost everywhere. So it's yeah, from enterprise to your own small projects. It's perfect for it. So this function now creates our site. So we will copy paste this part, and we will say update. So this is a put. We need our data, but we as well need our ID. So here we give our ID. We pass it our data as well. And that's it. Now it will update as well. So those three endpoints we need for our add update site component. So let's start. How do we know when it's an update? So basically, or logged out. So basically, if our URL basically has the ID in it, then we are on update. So how long did it took you to learn? Well, the basics, not that long, but then you only know the basic, and then it's just practicing until you get you can do everything you want. But I'm I'm now programming. I don't know for how many years. I think um, six. Yeah, 6 years. I think 6 or 7. Um, and I learned it when I was at school. But then I went into programming as a job as well, and there I learned again. So and I don't stop learning. That's programming. You never stop learning. It's yeah. So it's a difficult question to answer. How long that it took me to learn. Uh, so in our update, we will check if we have this param. If we have it, then we are in update. We fetch the site, and else it's else not. So how do we do this? This dot route dot params. Then of course we do our take until. Our component will extend the base component. Okay. So take until this dot ng unsubscribe. And what do we want to do then? Yeah, we need our super as well. So we want basically a merge map. So we want another observable. So we want a merge map. We will get our params, which is of an object called params. And then what do we need to do? We need to say if params id and params id not equals, of course. So if our params ID is not empty, so if it exists, we say we return this dot site service dot get site by ID params ID. Else we say we return an observable just off now of null. So what this means basically our merge mob is that we will get a site or null if we don't have the update. So after our pipe we can then just say subscribe site and we can basically say so we need to say that we start loading, so this is loading. So we need to say this dot site equals site, and if it's create and it's null, so it's fine. Then we say we want to build our form, and we say this dot downloading, so we don't show our loader anymore. Let's create our build form method. So private build form, which is a void. Say this dot form equals this dot form builder group, and we have a name. We do not pass it a value just yet, and we add our converter. So validators dot required, then any validators dot min length, and then we say this dot validation message values name dot min length, and you get the gist. Max length. So we have path, yeah, maximum line. Okay, doesn't matter. We'll do it like this. This one can be gone. Pattern, and of course we cannot show it like that. Okay, so we now need our regex. So it's basically A to Z, A to Z in capital. We want 0 to 9. Then we want a dash, underscore, slash, and it applies to the whole thingy. Don't ask me how regex works. I don't know it. Then we say this dot fill form, which is the method we will create in a second. After that we say this dot form dot values changes dot debounce, no dot pipe of course, debounce time to 50. Our take until again, this dot ng unsubscribe, and after that we can do a subscribe. You have data this dot form errors equals this on form value changed, this form errors, this dot validation messages, and that's it. And then we do this again, so we trigger it the first time. Can I also program in other languages? Yeah, I can program some other languages, but not Python. I know C Sharp, C++, a little bit of Kotlin, which is sort of a dialect of Java. What else? PHP, JavaScript, and TypeScript. I know SQL. That's not really a language. PL/SQL is a little bit of a language. Yeah, I know some. I know some languages, but not Python. No. Meaning to, but didn't have the chance just yet. So our private fill form is a void. So if site not equals null, of course this dot, this form get name dot set value, this site name, same for path, Okay, so we have built our form up. So now we can add our HTML. So div class row, and we say ng if we have our form, we show it. So we have div class call, so it's always the full width, and of course we have our cart again. So our cart header, it will have two titles. So we will add it into a span, so we can use an ng if. So site equals null. Then we will say component dot site dot add title translate, and if it's not equal to null, it's update. And let's start adding those translations as well. Add title update. We say here update site. Okay, so that's the translations, and that's our header then. Then we can open our form, which has form group equal to form. Yeah, thanks for watching, Prince AJ. If you want to see more streams, be sure to follow. Then you can get a notification when I'm going live. And we have an ng submit, so we can submit our form. So we say submit, and we add no validate because Angular will do it. See ya. With a div class card body. Okay, and as well on the bottom we have a div class card footer, which will have our buttons in there. So we start with an alert again. So we say time danger. Dismissible is true. and we have an ng if error and error not equals empty. It's basically error translate. So we'll create our first field. So div class form group. So we have a label there for name. Form dot field dot name translate. And we have input of the type text with the class form dash control. The ID is name. We have an ng clause on there with is invalid. Will be set when we have form errors.name. So if form errors.name exists, we will have our is invalid, which will have a red border then. We of course need to set our form control name to name. And we have again a placeholder which is the same as the label. Yes. Then we have a div class invalid feedback ng if form errors.name, and then we have form errors.name and translate it. So that's our first field, but we forgot something. So like I said, we need for the min length and the max length values. So we say validation messages values. Then of course we can just do a copy paste for the path and just change everything to path. And it will just work like that. Easy enough. Name of course dot path. So that will show our form. As you can see here, it's already filled in because we are on an update, and yeah, it's filled in, so it works. We need some translations. So name, path. It's the translations part. So now we need to add some buttons. So we will have two buttons. So the first button is type of submit, class btn-success. Disabled. When is it disabled? When the form is not valid. We'll add a nice fa.circle icon, and then we have again our we need basically again a span for add. So submit.btn, and we need to add it as well over here. So in here we go again. update. Let's already add the next one. Cancel. This will be the same. We can copy paste this one. We'll change our icon to ban and cancel. This will be, by the way, a link, and then we say router link, which will be just going back to sites because you cancelled, so we go back to sites and nothing happened. We misclicked. So that should do it. We have an error. It's disabled. Yeah, makes sense. We need a non-breaking space. And let's see our results. Next to each other, which is not so nice. Danger. Let's add some CSS. Margin right 5. That's too much, eh? It's too much. 1. No, that's not enough. 2. It will work. Come on. Nice. Okay, so we have an update and a cancel, and the update is grayed out. Okay, we have some issues in the update. So the cancel button works. Add. Okay. Okay, so the field needs to be at least 1 character long. So I think that will solve it. Let's test our 255 limit. Yep, works. Let's see. Oh yeah, we did not implement our submit yet, so it won't work. Well, it's basically pretty easy to implement a submit, so let's do it real quick. Public submit. Which is a void. So if this dot form, if it's dirty and this form is valid, then we say this error equals null. So we reset it again. Now we say if const to exec. So to execute is an observable of site equals this dot site equals null, and is this site service dot create site, and we send this form dot value else we say this dot update site service dot update this dot site dot id this dot form dot value, and that's it. So okay, then we say this loading to execute is then we pipe it take until this ng subscribe. Of course we subscribe site if site not equals null, and we say this dot loading after the if. So in here, what do we want to do? So we want basically a flash message. So flash message is a message that's only shown once, and when we redirect again, we don't show it. So, and then we navigate back to our site. Yeah. So we'll add a to-do add flash message. Now we'll say this dot router dot navigate sites. Looks good? Yes, it does. So if we now say new site slash new, and let's try bad site. Oh yeah, it works. Dash site. We click add. We have our loading, and we have 400, which is not great. Okay, we have a validation. The page path invalid. Okay. So why is it invalid? Site controller, our post. So in K we need some more error handling, by the way. Let's add it to do here. Okay, but that still doesn't say why we get the other message. It's this one. So what does it contain? Okay, I see it already. A dash. That's it. That's it. Will work. Reloading our server. Well, our API. Let's test it out again. New site. new site, add, and it works, and it's added here. So that works. So now we basically want a message somewhere over here that the site was added. So that's what we need the flash message for. Normally our updates as well should work, so we'll update the name updated, and as well the path updated, and it's updated. So that works like a charm. So we only need to do the error handling and the flash message. So we'll start with first commit, adding and updating site. So, well, let's start with the fun part. So let's create a nice service for our flash messages. So we create a new TypeScript file, flash.message service. Flash message service, yes. It's injectable. Core, of course. Export class. Flash message service. Add it to the providers. Moosh. So we have private current message, which will be a flash message, and we equal it to null. We need to create it, of course, so we have our models here, and we say export class flash message. We have a public type will be a flash message type, and we have public message, of course, which is a string. Let's as well create our export enum flash message type. We have danger equals to danger. We have info, which equals to info, and we have success. Success. Oh, sorry, type. So that's that. Now we insert a constructor, and that's it. We can import it here. So we have a public set message. We have message flash message. It's a void. This dot current message equals message. We have public get message flash message. Now we say we clear out our current message, and now we return our message. So we get our message and clear it out. So that's our service. Of course, we need a component for it because we need to view it. So let's add our flash message component. We need to add. Okay, we already did. So basically, it's an alert. Ng if the message not equals null. So we will have our message. Have a public message flash message, and we equals it to null. So type equals, and then we say message. Where is it? Type. Yeah. Of course, it's dismissible. And then we say message dot message, and we translate it. Okay. So what do we need to have? We have a private flash message service. Flash message service. This dot message equals this dot flash message service dot get message. And this works because the flash message is designed to do it after a redirect, and then when it comes on the page which has a flash message, then it will trigger the ng on int. So what do we else need to do is we need to export our flash message component. Then in our add update component here, we need to basically set our message. So we need our flash message service, private flash message service. Okay, and then we say this dot flash message service dot set message new, which is of the type success, and then we need to component dot sites add success. Well, so we say this dot site equals null, else, well, it's basically the same update. So we need to add those to our translation. So successfully added site. Alright, this one is JSON, real JSON, so it needs to be this one. Successfully updated the site, and that's it. So now our flash message will be set, then we do a navigate, so that works, but we need to show it still. So we go back to our sites component. On our row here we will say flash message, and I will show it. Let's see if it's correct. So let's update it. Update, and we have our flash message. So that works. Nice. Okay, so let's commit our changes. Let's add our inversion files as well. So flash messages for sites. Commit and push. So those to-dos are gone. We have map twice. Okay. So we have now catch something wrong at create site and update site, but oh, that doesn't work. I forgot about this check. If there is already a site. So how will it look in the response? So if we say we add a new site for shop, then we get a 400 back with the title the name is not unique. So that's yeah, that's what we need to check. And we as well need to check the path. That's already a bit more difficult. Okay, so we have questions. So Sequoia, hi, how are you, man? I hope everything goes well. So, how do I connect Java with Angular? So basically, the Java part is basically a Spring Boot REST API, which then returns JSON. So we connect to that REST API indeed over HTTP. The path checks is already a little bit more difficult because or bench. Let's see how we save it. I forgot. It was a long time ago. So yeah, we save it with the slash. Okay. So we need to check if our path is equal as well. Okay, yeah, indeed. From JSON. Here we need to say URL utils dot add beginning slash optimize URL. We as well do it in our service, so it's not that good that we do it twice because we optimize it here as well. But yeah, so this is also used further on for developers, so we need to do it just twice because we as well we need an optimized URL to check uh, if our site if there is already a path with that site, so we need to check that as well. So we put it in our site JSON converter, we optimize the URL already, and then we don't do it twice, and it's not so heavy to optimize it. So yeah, we were busy with the errors handling here, but we see now that we miss something. So in our create, so if site service dot get site by path, we then need to say site dot get base path is present. Yes, is present. Site path not unique. There is already a site with this path. That's it. We'll implement that method shortly. Copy paste this part. Get base path. Get base path. Okay. Now we need to implement this. I'll need to say new site as well. Site. Get site by path. Let's implement this one. So this is an optional, and we need to return site dot find by base path, because we save it as base path, and we say path, and that's it. So we need to implement this. Of course, this is site db. We need to do our conversion as well. Map site converter from db. That should do it. Let's add the tests. It's the same test, but then for path. Let's adapt them. The lowest two. Path. Path. Find by base path. Just run all the tests. Let's see if they're green. And they're all green. Nice. So what we wrote works. Wow. Think someone outside is dying. We need to reload our backend, of course. Let's commit our stuff first. So let's first do our repository. So on the repository we created get site by ID by path. That's all in the commit. Push it. And then we can as well commit our backend part. Come on, faster. Adding an extra unique check. Checking if the path of the site is unique. That's what we need to commit. And we just commit it, don't push it just yet. Okay, so basically we're a bit off. So when we get an error, we want to check the title. If we have our title, we can map it to a nice error. So let's close this stuff up. So we will remove this part. We don't need it anymore. Let's see. I think we already did it in our authentication service. So basically, we'll it's not error. It's error event, I think. So basically, here. So we check here if error.error is from error event, an instance of. This means that the server is down or something like that. Else, and this means that it's an error that we broke it, basically. So yeah. Let's copy paste it because there is already some work done that we don't need to type again. And I like copy pasting if it works. So error event. I need to change it as well here. I made it. Oh no. So error event. Okay, it's changed. So we'll start with changing this to site error. So in here, we basically say if error.title equals, then we have site.name.not dash unique, I think. Let's see. Oh, basically it's this how we can send. So if that's not unique, we can have that. So we then as well have an else if, and then we have it with path. And of course we have an else, which is then just catching all the rest of the errors. So in here we then say where do we put it again? We have service errors, site, name dot not unique. There is already a site with this name, and the same for path with this path. Okay, so that's our translation for it. Then in here we need to say service dot site dot name not unique. Paste it again. and we say path. So this will emit this to our, well, it will emit it to site error, and we catch it already in here. Well, we don't catch it just yet. So in here we say emitter service off, site error. We need to pipe take until this.ng and subscribe .subscribe. We just say error, which works. So this will catch then every error we can have. So in here we as well can go like this, and we catch it for the update as well. So I can remove the to-dos. So this will set the error. Do we have it in the HTML already? Yes. It's over here. So let's see if we can trigger some errors. So we have it already shop. Add. Okay. So what happened? Name not unique. Which is indeed correct, because it didn't add the website, so that's already something. the API the API does its job. No, yeah. Let's see. And I know where I went wrong. So this needs to return null, and then it will work. Okay. So we will shop. So have slash shop and then new. We add it, and we see service site name not unique. So our translation is not working. Errors. Dang it. Okay. Let's do it again. We did not change it for the. Okay. We know that it will work with the translation. So we will add a new shop, but with the same. And it's indeed path not unique. So our stuff works. We only need to do this. Okay. So now it works. Yeah. Which is nice. Okay, let's commit it. Let's commit and push. Commit and push. Okay. So basically, we finished up our, well, we almost finished up our site section. So next stream, I will start with the delete, with the delete button, and then we will go on creating pages for the site. Yeah. So next stream is also as well uh, some more backend work as well. So that's also nice because this stream was a lot of front end work, which needs to happen in a web application. But next stream there is more backend work. If you like the stream, please follow me on Twitch. You can subscribe as well on YouTube. Um, I will be streaming every time I'm working on my CMS. And I stream as much as I can with my job. See you guys. Bye bye.